The topic is about propensity to consume. Okay. Now see here, what is the meaning of propensity to consume? It means the proportion of income used as consumption expenditure. Right. Now, what does it say here? It says that, say for example, if a person has income of 100 rupees and pala 시도도 가래 기마기마라 시스타는 나 민도 영어 민도 야
Det går då där, det kan det går då där.
Det domen då nej.
Men det är inte så det går ni.
아니요, 다 쏟다.
Det kan ju det går bättre sätt där då.
Nem 그래.
Nej men man man det går han då det går.
아나 나구나 조시나 디고라.
det 계시랑 통일이나 될 따지 지나 det går.
맞다. 디 통고로 와디.
통고 동안 정말 주래.
아니요. 오케이.
det 그런 거 돼. 그걸 뭐 버려도 네.
오케이.
근데 그런데 계시랑 통일이나 툭 쉬다 det går.
오케이. 마토나 디기라.
맞나 걔만 한 통고로 나한테 통고로.
맞다. 디낭rol레 디 세이프 책으로 와.
세이프 책으로. 한 통고는 딘지 됐지 지나 det går.
오케이. 다바 고잡다. 난 고나. 고잡셔로 주다. 아이다. The topic is propensity to consume. What is this propensity to consume? It refers to the proportion of income used as consumption expenditure. Now what does it say here is, suppose people has an income of rupees 100, right? So out of 100, how much he's going to use for his consumption purpose? That is called as propensity to consume. Now, in propensity to consume, we have two. Okay, the first one is APC and another one is MPC. Now, what is this APC here? APC is average propensity to consume. Now, the meaning of APC is, it refers to the proportion of total income going to consumption expenditure. Okay, so what does it say here? Out of total income, how much proportion of income is used by the people for consumption purpose? So that is called as APC, right? Now, I will give you a very simple example. Suppose income is 100 crore and consumption is 80. Okay. Now see, in this APC, we have to measure this APC as the ratio between total consumption and total income. So the formula for APC is C upon Y. Right? C is consumption here and Y is income here. Now, example, income is 100 crore and consumption is 80 crore. Okay, So 80 upon 100 is 0.8. So this shows that 80% of the income is spent by the way of consumption expenditure. Okay. Now see this schedule presentation here. It is given Y, income, C, consumption, right? So income is given 0, 50, 100, 150. Consumption is given 20, 60, 100, 140, right? Okay. Now using the formula, we are getting APC like this. So APC is 1.2, 1 and 0.9, right? Now what we have to do here is we have to observe 3 situations here. Situation 1, see here, it is given, right? Situation 1 is APC is greater than 1. Situation 2 is APC is equal to 1. And situation 3 is APC is lesser than 1. Is that clear? Okay. Now, this one, when we say APC is greater, lesser, and equal to 1, what does it shows? Now see here. APC will become equal to 1 when consumption is equal to Y. Is it happening here? So APC is equal to 1, this one, right? So what is happening here? See here, the income is 100 and consumption is also 100. So when consumption is equal to income, then APC will become 1. Okay. Similarly, now see here, we have APC is greater than 1. Now in this, what is happening? Consumption will be greater than Y. Is it happening here? This one situation, right? So see here, 50 and 60 here, right? So here consumption is greater than income. Then third one, we have APC is lesser than 1. In this, what is happening? C is lesser than Y, right? So it happens here. C, this is C 140 and this is Y 150. So C is lesser than Y. Consumption is lesser than income. All right. Okay. So like this, in this APC, we are getting 3 situations here. Now, one thing you have to note here is that the value of APC is generally less than 1 because, now see here, when we are getting APC, okay, the value of this APC will be always less than 1, right? So less than 1 means this one, this situation, it will come. So what is happening here in this situation? Consumption is lesser than income. This happens, right? So see here, the value of APC is generally less than 1 because often a part of income is saved, right? So we have seen here the income is 150 and the consumption is 140. This usually happens, right? So what is happening here? People are saving here, right? Okay, so also we can say that consumption will be always lesser than income, right? Okay, so this is a schedule presentation of APC. Now we go for MPC. So MPC, marginal propensity to consume. The meaning of this is it refers to the proportion of additional income which is going to consumption expenditure. Now see here, this M, right? So this M is marginal. All right. So when we say marginal, it means additional, right? Okay. So additional shows a change, right? Okay. Now, what this meaning says is proportion of additional income going to consumption expenditure. Is that clear? So, additional income that people are going to spend for their consumption, right? So, out of additional income, how much proportion of such income is going for consumption expenditure, that is called as MPC. All right. So as I said, the formula for MPC is equal to change in consumption upon change in income. Is that clear? So it's very simple here. See, change in income. Change shows additional, right? When we say marginal. So additional income. If there is a change in income, obviously there will be a change in consumption. So this one is called as MPC. Now, schedule presentation of MPC here. So we have to see here how to compute MPC. Okay, so we have seen the formula, right? Now, using that formula, we have taken here the same schedule. Y 0, 50, 100, 150. Consumption is given like this. Okay, now to find out MPC, we need to find out change in C first. Is that clear? Okay, now what we have to do here is when we are going to find out what is the change in C, what we have to do is there is a 0 here, right? Okay, now here we cannot see any change, right? Now next we go for it. See here, sorry, not this one. This will come later. Now we go for change in C. We have to see here. Okay, C. Now 20, we cannot see any change here, right? Now next one is, now we have to see change here. 60, 20. So how much is the change? It is 40 here. Likewise, 100, 60. Change is 40. 140, 100. The change is 40. Right? So like this, we have to find out change in C. Similarly, change in Y. So same thing, no change here. Then we go for 50, 0, 50, right? 100, 50, 50 is the change here. And 150, 100, 50 is the change here, right? So now put the formula. MPC is change in consumption upon change in income. So we are getting 0.8, 0.8 and 0.8, right? Okay, so MPC is becoming here what? MPC is remaining constant here. So this we have studied in consumption function, right? Now we will see here, what will be the value of MPC here? The value of MPC is generally greater than 0 and less than 1. Okay, so when you are calculating MPC, usually you will get an answer, okay, answer which is usually greater than 0 and less than 1. So see here, we are getting here 0.8. All right. Now next one we have is propensity to save. Now what is this? Propensity to save. So it refers to the proportion of income which is kept for saving. Okay, so we have income, right? And from it, how much proportion we save. That is called as propensity to save. Now in this we have two categories. One is APS, another one is MPS. APS is average propensity to save. Now see here, what is the meaning of APS here? APS is, it refers to the proportion of total income that goes to saving. Right? So what does it mean? Out of total income, how much proportion that we save is called as APS. Now the formula for APS is equal to saving upon income. Okay, now see here, I will give here one example. Income is 100, saving is 40, right? So APS, how much we will get? 0.4, right? So what does it shows here? It shows that when I said 0.4, 40% of income is saved. All right. Now see here, we have scheduled presentation of APS, income, C, consumption we have taken here, right? Now, S, this is what? Saving. All right. Okay. Now, in this, we have to find out S here. Right? Now, how we have to find out S here? It's very simple. Income is equal to C plus S. Right? Income is equal to C plus S. So, income is consumed as well as saved. Right? Now, you have to change this formula. Is that clear? Okay. So, saving is equal to how much it will come? Income minus consumption. All right. So, we are getting here, see, 0 minus 20 will be minus 20. 50 minus 60 will be minus 10. Like this, we have to calculate. All right. Okay. Then APS, you go for it. APS is S upon Y. So we are getting like this. It is minus 0.2 and 0 and 0.06. Right. Now, again, in this, we will get situations like this. What is this here? APS is negative, APS is 0, and APS is positive. Right. Now, what does it indicate here? APS is 0 means there will be no saving here. So, is it? Yes. See here. APS is equal to 0 means in this situation, what is happening? Y is equal to C. So when Y becomes equal to C, then there will be no saving, right? And then second one we have is APS is negative, right? So negative is this one. So what is happening here? Saving is negative here, that is minus 10, right? So in this situation, C will be greater than Y. Right? So when C will be greater than Y, there will be negative saving. Right? Now see here. How come? Y is 50 and C is 60. That means more than income, consumption is there. Right? Is it possible? Yes. Right? Okay. Now, the next one we have APS is equal to positive here. So when it is positive here, what is happening? See here, saving is positive here. It shows income is 150, consumption is 140. Right? So income is greater than consumption here. All right. So when we say MPS is positive, what is happening? C will be lesser than Y. Is that clear? Okay, so when in this case, see here, APS is positive, it is written here, or we can also say that APS is lesser than 1. Alright? Okay. Now we have to see what will be the value of APS. Okay. Now the value of APS is generally less than 1. It will come less than 1 because now less than 1 means it is this situation, right? APS is positive, which means C will be lesser than Y. This usually happens, right? So because of it, APS value will be generally less than 1. So the reason it is given here, because only a part of income is saved here. So see here, this is the situation, right? APS is positive. So what is happening here? Income, which is 150, all they will not spend. Few portion of income they will go for saving, and rest they will go for consumption, right? Okay, so usually we will get the value of APS lesser than 1. APS can never be greater than 1 because saving cannot be greater than 1, right? So this is very simple. Okay, then we go for MPS. So MPS is marginal propensity to save. So again, marginal, it refers to additional. Now it refers to the proportion of additional income that goes to saving. Okay, so additional income. So out of additional income, how much proportion that a people save it, that is called as MPS. Now formula for MPS is change in saving upon change in income. Now see here, schedule presentation. Income is given, consumption is given, saving we have seen just now. Now we have to find out MPS. So we have to go for change in saving and change in income, right? So change in income we have seen before, change in saving again, the same thing you have to go. Initially we don't see any change, right? The next one, minus 10, minus 20, 10, right? Then here it is 10. Then 10, this one 10, right? So like this you have to go for change in saving. Okay, so now using these two you will get MPS, which is 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. Again, this one is constant here. This we have seen in saving function, right? Okay, now the value of MPC and MPS will never be negative. This one you have to see. Okay, and the value of MPC and MPS will remain constant. This also we have seen just now. And the value of MPC and MPS lies between 0 to 1. Now this you have to keep it in your mind. Okay. Okay. Now see, one by one we are going to see here. As I said that the value of MPC and MPS lies between 0 to 1. It will be always in between 0 to 1. Okay. Now here we have to go for one law, fundamental psychological law of consumption. What does it say here? See, when income increases, there will be an increase in consumption, but not in the same proportion. Okay, so when income increases, also people will increase their consumption, but it will not be in the same proportion. Right, now see, we have a schedule here, very simple schedule. Income is given 500, 700, C is given 300, 400. Saving is given 200 and 300. Right. Okay. Now, what we have to see here is MPC we have find out. MPC is change in C upon change in Y. Right. Now we have to see here change in Y. Change in Y is 5, 6, 700. That is 200. And change in C is 300 to 400. It is only 100. Right. So see here MPC, the value we are getting 0.5. Is that clear? This is just one example here. Is that clear? Okay. And also I have said that the value of MPC and value of MPS will remain constant. And why it remains constant, we have seen in consumption function and saving function. Next one, maximum value of MPC is 1. Okay, what will be the maximum value of MPC? It is 1. Now again here a schedule is given, the same schedule. Income 500, 700, C 300, 500 and saving 200 and 200. Right? Now see here. MPC we can easily calculate, right? So MPC is 200, 200 is equal to 1. Is that clear? So if MPC is 1, then what will be the value of MPS? Very simple. What we have to do now, 1 minus MPC, that is 1 minus 1 will be 0. So when the value of MPC is 1, then MPS value will become 0. Okay? Now, entire addition to income is spent on consumption, and in this case the value of MPS will be 0. So when this MPS value will become 0, only when the entire addition to income is spent on consumption. Okay, and that time what will happen? MPS will become 0. Then maximum value of MPS can be 1. Okay, so if the MPS value is 1, then what will be the value of MPC? That we have to see here. So again, the same here. Income is given, consumption and saving is given, right? So we have to find out MPS here. So MPS, now we can easily calculate, right? We will be getting the value 1, right? So when MPS value is 1, then MPC will become 0 here. Is that clear? Okay? Okay. Now maximum value of MPS can be 1 when entire income is saved. Only when entire income is saved, then the value of MPS can be 1. Is that clear? Okay. Then in such situation, the value of MPC will become what? It will become 0 here. All right. Okay. So these are the things which is related to propensity to consume and propensity to save. All right. Now we have seen the formula of APC, MPC, APS and MPS. Okay. Now see here. We have this. APC plus APS is equal to 1. Okay. Now this one. We have to show how APC plus APS is equal to 1. Alright. Now APC, C upon Y. APS is S upon Y. Right. Now this formula we know. Income is equal to C plus S. That is consumed plus saved. Okay, so using this formula, right? Now how we have to go about it? APC plus APS is equal to C upon Y plus S upon Y, right? So is equal to, now C plus S upon Y. We can write it like this, right? Is equal to C plus S is what? It is nothing but this Y here, right? So Y upon Y is equal to 1. So APC plus APS is equal to 1. Is that clear? Okay. So now again we are getting formula here. See here. If you have to find out APC here, then you can use this formula. 1 minus APS will become APC. Similarly, if you have to find out APS, this is another example formula, right? So APS is equal to 1 minus APC. Okay, so this is the second formula here. All right. Now we have, see, the same thing here. Now MPC, MPS, right? Okay, so MPC plus MPS is equal to 1 here. It is given, right? Now how it came again? Now we know the formula of MPC, which is change in C, consumption upon change in Y, and MPS is change in saving upon change in Y. Right, now income is equal to C plus S. So change in income is equal to change in C plus change in S. So MPC plus MPS is equal to this one. We can write it like this, right? Okay, now then change in C plus change in S upon change in Y. We can write it like this, right? Is equal to, now what is this? This one entire thing. This is nothing but it is this one, Y. So change in Y upon change in Y will be equal to 1. So we are getting MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. Right? Now, this is the another example formula of MPC. So MPC is equal to, now we can do it like this, 1 minus MPS. Similarly, we have MPS is equal to 1 minus MPC. Right. So we are getting another formula of MPC and MP. Now see, the value of MPC and MPS will never be negative. Right. It says that the value of MPC and MPS will never be negative. Now this one, we have to see like this. MPC is equal to change in C upon change in Y, right? MPS is change in S upon change in Y, right? Now this one is nothing but it is the slope of C function. We have seen this one in consumption function, right? Okay, slope of C function is MPC, right? Likewise, MPS, this one, it is the slope of S function. What is the slope of S function? MPS, right? So in this, both we have seen MPC as well as MPS, it is remaining constant, right? It has a constant slope. Now, this slope of C function, it is always positive. Okay, the slope of C function is always positive because of positive relationship between C and Y. Is that clear? Slope of C function is always positive. Reason, Why it is positive? Because there is a positive relationship between C and Y. Like same thing, slope of S function is always positive because S and Y, the relationship between these two will remain positive. Okay, there is a positive relationship between these two, saving and Y. So when income increases, saving increases. Right? Positive. When income increases, consumption increases. Positive. Is that clear? So we say that the value of MPS and MPC will never be negative. It will be always positive. All right. Okay. Now, next one. We go for this one. Now, see here, the topic is how to derive consumption curve from saving curve. This one we have seen, right? This one is saving curve and this one is consumption curve, right? So these two we have seen in our saving function as well as consumption function. Okay, now in this what we have to do is using this one saving curve, we have to derive consumption curve. Is that clear? So the diagram will come like this. Now for this, what we have to do is we have steps here. Step number 1, saving is negative, right? Saving is negative when income is equal to 0. Now this one we have seen in schedule also, right? So when income is 0, there will be a negative saving, right? Now negative saving is this one, this S1, right? This is negative saving. All right. This is equal to negative SO. So this one, it is SO. Is that clear? Okay. So when income is 0, then there will be a negative saving here. During that time, what happens to consumption? Now in theory we have seen, right? So corresponding to it, autonomous consumption, that means C bar, right, would be equal to OC. Now, OC is this one, O and C. What is this C here? This is autonomous consumption, C bar, right? Okay, so when income is 0, during that time, saving will become negative. But what happens to the consumption? Consumption is autonomous consumption. Now, what is the meaning of autonomous consumption here? So, autonomous consumption is that consumption when income is 0. As I said before, when income is 0, there is a minimum level of consumption, right? Okay. Step number 2. When saving is equal to 0, C is equal to Y. Is it? Now we can see here in this diagram. Saving here, see here, this one. So saving is equal to 0 here, right? So when saving is equal to 0 here, what is happening here? See here, okay? Here, C will be equal to Y. Consumption will be equal to Y. Now again, in theory we have seen it, right? So when income is equal to consumption, then saving will become 0. So step 2, when S is equal to 0, C is equal to Y. This corresponds to the income level of OY in both the figures, right? So that means this one. This is O, Y, and same O and Y. Is that clear? So here O, Y, what is happening? S is equal to 0. When S is equal to 0, what happens here? C is equal to Y. That is 0, Y here. So thus, between between O to OY level of income, C will be greater than Y. Now that means what does it shows? From here to, okay, O to Y. This one, from O to Y, what is happening here? So here, C is greater than Y. What is happening here? C is greater than Y. Now we go for step number 3. Starting from C and passing through the point E, we stretch the consumption function as a straight line. So this we have seen in consumption function, right? So starting from C, that means it is from here and passing through E point. So E point is this one, right? So like this, we have to stretch the C function. And we have seen before C function, consumption function, this line will be a straight line. Okay, so this straight line consumption function shows what? It shows constant slope, right? Which is nothing but MPC. Remember, MPC, right? So MPC is marginal propensity to consume, right? Is equal to B. It is given here, B. So B is what? MPC here, right? So the slope of C function will remain constant. This we have seen, okay? And also it is a straight line. Next one. This corresponds to the constant slope of S function, saving function. Similarly, right, saving function also, the slope of saving function is also a constant slope because of MPS, right? So like this, we have 3 steps on the basis of which we can derive consumption curve from saving curve. Is that clear? So most of the part of it we have already studied in consumption function as well as saving function in depth, right? Okay. Now next one, we have to study about investment. 2 types of investment. One is induced investment, another one is autonomous investment. What is this induced investment? Induced investment is positively related to the level of income in an economy. So what we have to take here? Income. Income and investment. The relationship between these two is positive. Right, which means what? Number 2, at higher level of income, consumption expenditure tends to increase. When there is an increase in income, obviously consumption will also increase, right? Increased consumption expenditure or the level of demand raises expected profitability of the producer, who accordingly are induced to make greater investment. Very simple, right? If consumption increases, it shows what? Demand is increasing, right? So the producer will be getting more profits because of higher demand. So in order to achieve profits, what they will do here is they will go for greater investment. Induced investment curve has a positive slope showing direct relationship between income and investment. So induced investment curve, it is positive in slope. The reason why it is positive, the reason is there is a direct or positive relationship between income and investment. Okay, so see the diagram of induced investment. So this one, this is the diagrammatic presentation of induced investment, right? So o x-axis, we have taken income here. This is the income. Okay, o y-axis is investment. Is that clear? So what is happening here? So when income increases from OL1 to OL2, then investment also, it has increased from OK1 to OK2. So it shows a positive relationship between investment and income. Then we have autonomous investment. What is this autonomous investment? Autonomous investment, an investment which is not influenced by expected profitability or level of income, is called as autonomous investment. Now in this investment is not related to income. Clear? Okay, whether income is there or not, investment will be there. And who does this investment? It is government. Is that clear? And government motive is not to earn profits. Right? Now see here. In fact, it is an investment expenditure incurred by the government. Just now I have said this autonomous investment, it will be done by the government. Now why they will do this autonomous investment? With a view to promoting the level of aggregate demand in the economy. Is that clear? So what is the reason behind government going for autonomous investment? Why the government is doing this investment? This is to increase the level of AD. To increase AD. Okay. When AD falls short of aggregate supply, especially in an economy when aggregate demand is lesser than aggregate supply, what happens to the prices here? Then the price will go down. Price will fall. And because of it, there will be a problem of unemployment. Is that clear? So, to save the economy from such problem, government is going for autonomous investment. Government will do autonomous investment. Okay, so if the government does this, if the government will invest, then what will happen? The government intends in push up the level of AD. So aggregate demand will go up by the way of its autonomous investment. So if the government will do this investment, AD will increase. Right? Autonomous investment is independent of the level of income. So that means autonomous investment is not related to income. Okay? It is also profit and income inelastic. Inelastic means no change. Right? So what does it mean here? It means that this autonomous investment is not related to income. If income changes or if income not changes, okay, if income remain inelastic, there will be no any effect on autonomous investment. Whether income is there or not, they will go for investment. Okay, second one, profit. It is given here. They will not look for profit. Is that clear? Okay, they will do investment. Right? So this is called as autonomous investment. Now we can see the diagrammatic presentation of autonomous investment here. So this is the diagram of autonomous investment. So here income is given, here investment is given, right? So we are getting a parallel horizontal line which is parallel to x-axis. Now what does it shows? It shows that this autonomous investment is not related to income. Whether income is there or not, government will do autonomous investment. All right. So now this is about induced investment and autonomous investment. So in short, what is the difference between these two? Induced investment is related to income. Okay, there is a positive relationship between income and induced investment, right? Whereas autonomous investment is not at all related to income. Whether income is there or not, there will be autonomous investment. Who does this? Government. Okay, so government will do this investment in order to save the economy from the problem which we have seen.